to be working.
My name's Wes Wilson. Welcome to GameVidExpo, and I would like to introduce the Yogscast DWP.
Woo!
Hey. These are some of my very dear friends. We've known each other for years and years. How did you guys get your start?
I can't see you over Afro.
What? Am I on the way?
You should talk to the audience anyway.
Oh, hey.
How we got our start is, like 7 years ago. We were doing videos for just crazy stuff. We just would run and gun just something interesting in our town. And we started doing music videos for games like World of Warcraft and things like that. And then we just eventually got into podcasting about World of Warcraft and filming and stuff like that. And then moved on to like Minecraft. And now we're doing Smite. Right? Smite's awesome, right?
Yeah, love Smite. It is.
So, then really the Dead Workers Party is, it's more than just, we have a company called Dead Workers Party, but doing these podcasts, we've met people like Kevin over here, who listened to our Team Fortress 2 podcast and then made his own podcast on our network for, what was that?
For Fallout 3.
Fallout 3, that's good. And then he joined us on the Smite podcast, so he just kind of became a member of the Dead Workers Party. And Wes, a member of the Dead Workers Party on Shaft, Control Point, and a bunch of stuff. And then, of course, Afro.
Yeah, I just show up for stuff. I have no idea what's going on.
And then I go take long pee breaks, which we may need one.
Yeah, I've drank a lot of water.
So you guys have done a lot of podcasting, but a lot of people might know you for your video game parodies and your YouTube content. What kind of stuff have you put together for YouTube?
Oh, we do a lot of stuff. A lot of Minecraft stuff, of course, because we love Minecraft. And we're getting a lot more into indie games. We like to do kind of first looks and just play new things all the time, because playing new things is cool and fun. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes successful, sometimes it's a train wreck, but it's always fun.
Most of the time it's a train wreck. But that's fun, right? Like train wrecks?
So much fun.
Not in real life.
No.
But in videos.
I think we need to tap dance. I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea what's happening here. So recently you guys got invited to join the Yogscast.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well,
What's Simon like?
Some ice.
What's Simon like?
Simon's awesome. He laughs a lot and he's funny. It's actually it's been a long process. It's actually been a couple years since we've been talking about joining Yogscast and talking to those guys. And really right now we're trying to find more time to like record stuff with them, because they're of course in Europe and we're in Huntsville, Alabama. So I have to take off work to like record with them. I don't know if you saw an episode of Simple Simon. We were just on theirs, and it was a lot of fun. But it's been a lot of fun. Yogscast is good stuff.
Do you feel like a different person now that you've been animated, Brent?
Do I feel what?
Like a different person now that you've been animated?
I see how fat I am now, animated. Like, because they don't pull punches when someone else animates you. Like if I'm gonna edit something, I'll shrink myself down a little bit. But when a third party's animating, you're like, wow, they really think I'm fat. And then you look in the mirror and so I'll be dieting after this convention.
You guys are also known for your music videos, and Eric could be on stage, but he's made a lot of music for you guys, and like Minecraft fans will probably know In Search of Diamonds. I think it's up to 12 million hits or something like that.
Yeah, it's like half our views, I think.
Yeah.
Crazy song. Yeah, and he does a lot of amazing music. We do a lot of improv songs. You do some improv songs. You did one for Wes. You want to sing that one?
I don't want to sing that, but it's high quality, I promise.
Come on, let's get him to sing it.
Let's not get him to sing that, no.
No.
How about?
Wes loves that song.
Oh, yes.
So, we do improv songs. Like, we do a weekly show called The Shaft and one called On Smite, about Smite.
Woo!
And we'll just pick up a guitar and xylophones or wood blocks, triangles, whatever's around, and sing about sharks.
and jumping them.
Bring it around.
Yeah.
So y'all are doing gaming with Smite and Minecraft a lot. What other games have you guys been branching out into lately?
Lately, let's see, we did Lo-Fi Dick Fight. That was an indie game that was a lot of fun. Oh man, WildStar.
Yeah.
Breaking out into that. What do you think about it?
Well, I really liked WildStar, but I especially liked our attempt to play EverQuest. not Landmark, the original.
EverQuest 1.
EverQuest, and it was, I don't even think Trainwreck really describes it. It was just a horrible, horrible experience.
Why?
We didn't know where anything was anymore. When we did find something, someone had already killed it and had to respawn. None of us knew how to control anything, and I'm looking at the spell book, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this stuff does. I'll just pick stuff at random and hope it does good things.
Yeah, if you've never played EverQuest, like World of Warcraft, like it's an MMO like that, but like World of Warcraft, you have like, what, 20 spells? EverQuest, you had like 400?
I had
And you're like,
40 pages
what do
of
I do
spells.
with these things?
I think we're also super excited about Star Citizen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're planning to maybe do a show about that when it gets in alpha and gets into beta, hopefully.
Does anybody hear Star Citizen?
Yeah.
Like that? Would you
No,
listen to a
that guy.
podcast? So, okay, we got one listener.
All right, we're set. That's all we
Done.
need.
We're doing it.
Done. Star Citizen. Dead Workers Party on Star Citizen.
Now, your On Smite show has been getting bigger and bigger. And Smite has been getting bigger and bigger. What is it about that game that you think makes it so fun to talk about and so fun to play?
So I like a lot that I think it's really accessible as a game generally. I like the third person because it's different and because, to me, as a first-person shooter player, I'm used to using WASD keys. Like, that makes me feel like it's fun. That's what I'm used to. And I also really like, one of the reasons I don't so much care about things like Dota and LoL, I think is because they use mythology, right? Like, these are characters that are in a way real, and so there's an investment in those characters that are real, as you could say, I guess, but it makes it a lot of fun to play, and you care about them in a way, too, because they're real, or based on real mythology. So I like that a lot.
I love being in, like, if you played LoL or Dota, you need to just uninstall and install Smite, because, like, it's all this top-down, you kind of see little characters moving around. Smite, you're, like, in the action, you're throwing a spear, you're, like, doing all this stuff, and it's just non-stop action. And then B, the community. Like, the community is like I played Dota 2 for the first time, and the bots were, like, making fun of me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to learn the game, and a bot's like, dude, uninstall. And I'm like, okay. So the community is great for Smite, and those are awesome reasons to play.
It looks pretty.
It does look pretty.
Looks very pretty.
And you've got involved with a lot of different gaming communities. And I think that's something that you guys have been able to tap into, is finding the really good elements of good communities, like Minecraft and Smite and Team Fortress 2. How does the community feed what you're doing and make it more enjoyable? Yeah, Paul, answer.
Whoa.
You're not talking much, so I'm looking at you.
You know, I'm not an expert, but you know, they just provide feedback. They both positive and negative, and it helps you kind of direct what you're doing to make it better.
Yeah, the Dead Workers Party has always been big into community. I mean, we always try to make sure there's forums or a place for our community to go and talk and times to play with the community. Most of our moderators and people that end up on shows and stuff are from the community, because that's what makes any of our shows. That's what makes any of our videos is you guys in the community that listens to everything. So without y'all, nothing would be there. So the community is utmost importance to us. When we get sponsors and things for the shows, we try to make sure there's something for the listener, that it's not just, hey, go buy a Coke. It's like, hey, you can go buy, Netflix or Audible, audibletrial.com/ anyway, that you get a free something, or, we got a website that some people sponsor the show for. we want something for the community, because we feel they're the cool people.
Yeah, and I, as a primary community member, I first started listening to Control Point when I was, I think, 13, and still in 8th grade, and like the way they made me feel so included, even though I was this like little kid that sent in these stupid questions to their show and played Audio Surf with Wes one time, and he mentioned me on the show, and it was like the coolest thing ever. I showed it to my friends that like, oh, they mentioned my name on this podcast. My friends were like, great, that's cool, good for you. But it eventually, I mean, it progressed to me being like super good friends with these guys and getting onto On Smite with them. And
Yeah,
they're
we
like,
shared a bed last night.
yeah,
Yeah, it was magical.
we don't want to talk
So
about
that's why you
that.
should listen to our videos, right? Because you may be able to share a bed with me.
No,
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's probably too far. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, and there's something about podcasting in and of itself. It's almost getting it has a certain niche quality to it, and it's a very intimate communication at times, because it is usually on a singular message delivered to your device, and you listen to it when you want it. Podcasting has kind of been a rocky road lately. Do you think there is a way that it can evolve in a new direction? Is there something that you think needs to happen for that cool podcasting vibe that was so popular for so long to keep going?
Yeah, there's like one thing I've been looking into is SoundCloud actually has a beta going on for podcasters, and I'd love, once again, kind of the community aspect of SoundCloud, that someone can listen to something and immediately tell you where in this song that hey, I like this beat, I like this drop, or whatever. Something like that for podcasting, so people, oh, this was hysterical, or I love this part, or I love this. It's that feedback and that community kind of interaction that I think would kind of take it to the next level, and that's kind of what I would like to see happening. Now it's things are getting into cars and things like that, but it's pick or choose. You got to be the top 10 kind of thing. That everybody can't get into that, so it needs to be something open for everybody, because that's kind of what was good about podcasting. Anybody can pick up a mic and put a feed up and have a podcast. So just open it to the public and more feedback.
I know I really enjoy when we stream it on Twitch. It's fun to see people in your chat room telling you things and helping you with questions you have. They like help you not have to do so much work in a way. You can ask.
Sound so stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can say things like, for Smite as an example, like, what does this item do? Like, I don't know. And then we'll move on. And then 30 seconds later, when the stream catches up with us, we'll see in the chat, oh, this is what it does. And then we can, actually provide information instead of just spending the whole episode going, I don't know what we're talking about. So it's great in that way.
The best was, like, now when we stream, we actually show the chat room when we stream, so you can get context for some of these comments. But used to, we didn't. So someone would say something funny in the chat room, and we'd steal that right away. And oh yeah, we sounded funny. Now we can't get away with that.
Or we just start laughing and people think it's for no apparent reason.
How has Twitch changed what you're doing? I know you guys used to stream on Ustream, so you're not unfamiliar with the whole like streaming your show thing. But how has Twitch changed how you're doing things?
It's maybe it hasn't actually changed anything yet, but it's kind of changed our view of how we want to do some things, because like I said, we love the community aspect, and Twitch to me is like, that's the ultimate community aspect. Someone can walk into your show and you can talk to them right away. It's like, you don't normally get that on a podcast because they're listening to it while they're exercising or whatever they're doing. But Twitch, you can talk to them right away, and that's awesome. And so we want to do more of that and get more, because right now we stream like once a week, and then like we'll be playing a game and go, hey, maybe we should stream this. So we're going to start doing more set times and set streams, stream longer and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of affecting, I guess, more of a business process, kind of to get to more viewers and talk to more people.
How about how difficult has it been to take what you're doing and make money at it?
Very difficult. Very difficult. It's a third job. I mean, like I work like during the day, 9 to 5. I work at Curse, doing GamePedia.com. If you've heard of that website. And then, after that, I get home and either we're filming something or I'm emailing just tons of people trying to find sponsors for the show, advertisers, things like that. And it's really hard. Like people don't get podcasting so much. They're stuck in like the web world of like, we want this CPM, and it's like, that's totally different, and there's this engagement that you don't get on a website that you get through a podcast. So everything ends up being like affiliate based because they want to direct, tracking of who's buying their stuff. But we've had Audible as a sponsor for 5 years, and we get a lot of the same people listen. So over the years, you get less and less people listen to that. So you got to find another sponsor to kind of fill those shoes. You got to find. Luckily, we've had a couple of people come to us. There's a Minecraft camp now that teaches you how to program Minecraft and stuff like that. And so it's been really difficult. Like Total Biscuit was saying yesterday that there's no money in podcasting. That's not really true. I mean, Twit, makes tons of money. We don't. So there's a little truth to it, but yeah. So it's hard making money podcasting.
Yeah.
How have you felt your interactions? Like, I know you guys were really excited to join the Yogscast, and your number of subscribers has been picking up. Yeah. How do you feel like joining that group is helping you as an entity?
Oh, it's definitely helped. I mean, we did 10% growth since we announced joining them. And that's big to us. Like a lot of people that never knew us or seen any of our videos are finally getting exposed. And it was kind of one of the things that, like, in our videos, we would have awesome comments from viewers that'd be like, why don't you get more subs? And we're like, I don't know. Like, tell someone or two people even. And so that's been great. And really now it's going to be seeing how much we can work with them. Because it's one thing having the name, Yogscast DWP, that's one thing, but really to drive traffic, we really need to do a lot of videos with them because they're going to get the traffic, and hopefully people see what we do, like what we do, and then hopefully we'll get traffic from that. That's like GameVidExpo. Hopefully we'll be getting some traffic from this too. Yeah. Like, go watch our stuff, Dead Workers Party. Like, I was at PAX East, made Wes cry because we did a panel. The whole panel, I never mentioned once our YouTube channel. Oh my God, PAX East, like tons of people in the audience. And so I'm mentioning it right. YouTube.com/deadworkersparty. Go there now, please.
Or twitch.tv/deadworkersparty.
Don't
That's
get
a good one too.
Yeah, don't get them confused.
So, where do you think, what you mentioned you're thinking about doing a Star Citizen podcast. You mentioned that you're thinking about doing a
Wildstar
podcast.
And then the Dead Workers Party podcast. That's going to be a good one.
What other games are on the horizon you think are going to make good watchable material?
If y'all talk, I'm talking like everybody.
Well done, you know all the stuff.
Okay, so see, here's my problem. Like, I really want to do a Wildstar podcast, but I don't think it translates so well to video. Like MMOs, there's so much like story driven and so many like quests and things that there's too many details that like you forget to be funny. Like there's a little bit of funny in there just because you're naturally being stupid with your friends, but it's not like being in some other adventure where like you're driving the content. Like the content's almost driving you in an MMO. Yeah. So I feel it's harder to do videos in an MMO than it is something like Minecraft.
Now, but on the flip side though, with Star Citizen, we had an idea to integrate our podcast into the game and involve listeners in such a way that we would actually like get on a big ship and be in game doing the podcast and maybe like hire our listeners to protect us while we're doing the podcast. So we could even be like, uh-oh, we're getting attacked right now. Like, we got to deal with this. And that's one thing that I think really excited us about Star Citizen in particular, was the way to essentially podcast from in the game and it be like realistic, maybe even like sort of be in characters a little bit.
Yeah,
And
so
act like
like
we're doing like a radio in the game.
Yeah, because that's I think would be a fun and kind of different aspect of the podcasting is like you're in this game and it doesn't feel like awkward. We're not talking about like cars around our town or something. We're talking about what's in the game as if we're in the game and not complete role play, but where it feels in context. So if you were in your ship flying around Star Citizen and turned on the radio, I guess you have AM or something, and you hear the show, you wouldn't know it was anywhere else but in Star Citizen. Like, that'd be fun.
And you guys come from a film background, and that translates into a lot of the things that you do. How do you feel like your background in filmmaking evolved into what you guys do in YouTube video?
I think a lot of it, like Eric is, he's always been like our main editor for the Dead Workers Party, like before we started even doing Machinima, and just how he learned to the details, sound and pacing and everything that goes into making a video for like, you know, a TV show or something, I think goes into like our adventures and stuff. So our adventures aren't just, you know, cut and paste the end, intro and outro and call it done. There's pacing and there's music cues to what's going on. So it feels like you're watching a movie and not just a gameplay. We just released an hour-long adventure as, you know, a movie, you know, and that's awesome to me. And that I think that translated from our background of doing that first, doing the movies first. And hopefully it transcends into everything, so it feels like you're getting more of an experience.
And I actually was going to do a panel, but I wasn't able to flesh it out for this event, basically on whether highly produced content can compete with raw gameplay. What do you feel is the conflict there? So many people love to watch just raw gameplay, but at the same time, on the other side of the spectrum, you have these music videos that took months to make and have millions of views. Where's the middle ground?
Yeah, we actually struggle with that every couple months or so, because we talk about maybe we should just go to doing music videos, like, you know, once a month, like pop out an epic music video, right? And then I'm like, but then you don't really need me, Eric. So how about we do some gameplay stuff? So then it's, you know, we need a video a day. So there's really a difference, because the people who do the gameplay stuff well without like much editing, they're really good at it because they've got this really good personality, and they're usually great streamers too, because that personality transcends everything. Editing, we can get away with not being as funny as them, right? Because we can cut out the not funny stuff and keep just the funny stuff. And so there's a difference there. I think both of them can kind of live on the same stage, but you can definitely tell which is which, I think.
So you guys have guests on the Shaft every week, people from all over the world. Like, how hard is it on a week-to-week basis to interact with somebody else new and have it work?
For me, it's not hard at all. I get there, make sure I have my show notes ready and everything, and then whoever it is, ask questions, because I forget a lot of stuff, so everything's a new adventure for me anyway. That's just kind of how I do the show.
Yeah. I think a lot of, especially like Eric and I, we've been doing this so long that we can basically talk to anyone together, and we can kind of roll off what each other's doing, and the pacing kind of is there, whether we have a guest or not. So getting a guest in, it's really dependent on the guest and their personality. Sometimes there's a guest that just rocks. I mean, they just rock, and you just kind of let them go because you want to get more of what they're doing into the show than just us, because, you know, that's their week to do what they can. Some weeks you get guests that maybe aren't as, you know,
Eloquent?
Yeah, we'll go with that. And so then we fill the space more there, and I think it's just from doing it so long with each other that it's become second nature almost, and it's just because we don't stop once the mic's done. It's like we were talking with before we did the Simple Simon episode with Simon and Lewis. Like we're sitting there just chatting with them for like God, it had to have been like 45 minutes, and then Simon's like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna have to stop talking and actually do the show," because we were just sitting there and just going back and forth, just laughing. Like it was just nonstop laughter, and it was just like, okay, we got to stop being funny and do this show. Maybe we should have recorded that other stuff because that was funny.
Yeah.
And you guys have had, it's interesting, when you started the Shaft, it was all about Minecraft, but eventually, like, your guests all ended up being YouTube, for the most part, were YouTube personalities.
Yeah.
But that was almost a conscious decision on your part. How did that kind of evolve?
Originally it ended up, I think it was Luckland asked to be on the show, I think, or asked to be on there. And we're like, it's a great idea. Like, let's start getting, guests on the show. And, God, it's such a pain to schedule guests for the show, but it's so worth it because there's so many cool people out there in that space to just be able to talk to every week. And it was just, it's like when you start the show, you try to think of ideas to make it better every time. Every time you do something, you want it better the next time. And so it's like the guest was just kind of that natural progression into this works. We like talking with these people. There are some shows that we don't really have guests much because it's I don't know, like Smite, we don't really have guests. Like, what do y'all think? Do y'all think like Smite we should have more guests or?
So we've had 2 episodes with Octane Pro, who is a pretty big streamer. He is actually sort of working with High Res now. He's doing a lot of stuff for this episode. And that was awesome because, one, he's a super nice guy, and 2, we played matches with him before and after the show when we were recording with him. And I loved that. And that was one of the things I thought was super fun, was playing with someone that is prolific in the community, playing the game with them. Like, this is what we're talking about. Let's do it together. I like that a lot, and I would love to have more people on Smite.
So you will get to start scheduling guests on Smite.
All right, that'll be my job.
Because I can't handle it. Because that is one of the big things, like scheduling guests for a weekly show. Like I try to do it like a month at a time and like kind of queue people up, but it's like another full-time job. Like because it's not just calling someone up and going, "Hey, C-Nanners, what are you doing this Friday?" Because I don't have C-Nanner's phone number. That would probably make it easier. So, getting in touch with like half these people, it's like working through the channels and finding out how do I actually get to contact you? Because if you don't know YouTube, their like mailing system is not the way to contact anyone that gets 4 billion emails a day on YouTube. Because there's a lot of spam there and a lot of stuff. Anyway, so like that's the first part, is just getting them and then getting them to agree on the show, because like, the really big guys are like, "Hey, who are you? The Shaft? That's weird." Like Lady Gaga, when I asked her if she wanted to be on the Shaft, she really got the wrong idea. Yeah. And so she ended up doing a video with Sky instead. But kudos to Sky. But he was on the Shaft. We got in touch with him. But coming to conventions like this is like where we talk to them and say, "Hey, let's get you on the show," and then we get a contact that way. So it's like full time getting contacts, getting them on the show. Luckily, we've only had one. I think this is right. Only one guest in 150 or more interviews that forgot about the show and didn't show up. That was Basher, if you're here. If you see Basher, dumb. He showed up later for a different show. But so that's really cool. That I think that also speaks to the community of the people doing the shows that they're responsible. They're responsible for it. If they say they'll do it, they'll do it for the most part, except for Basher. And But like, you know, they'll just show up like, C-Nanner's never heard of us. He didn't know who we were or the Shaft. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. Notch was on the show. You know who Notch is from Minecraft?
No
He was
idea.
on episode 100. Go listen to it. It's awesome. From a hotel. The maid actually came. Well, we do a segment, or used to do a segment for. Well, we won't get into that. But, where the maid would come in, and we basically end the show off this. While we're talking to Notch, the maid comes in, and I don't know if she asked for a mint, if you wanted a mint
I
for
don't
the
know.
but it
yeah,
was perfect timing.
We were talking to Notch, and the maid knocked on the door there, and it just cracked us all up. Housekeeping! Housekeeping!
And now we have Notch on a soundboard, because when we had him on, we're like, hey, can we get you to say this? And he's like, sure. And he didn't realize how badly we were going to abuse what he let us record. And so now, like, during the shows, we have him, like, destroying little kids' ideas on, like, you know, they're like, I want this in Minecraft. And he's like, that's the worst idea ever. And he's like, oh, my God, Notch just said my idea was the worst. And some kid's crying somewhere. We apologize for that. But
We are horrible, horrible people.
we are. But it's fun still.
How has it been? Like,
Cry and
the
laugh.
Minecraft phenomenon was so huge, and is still huge.
Yeah.
And you guys were there at the beginning, growing with it, and you got to watch it come from. I mean, the Dead Workers Party was in the Minecraft documentary.
Yeah.
How has it been being kind of like right there next to something that's probably the biggest thing that's happened in gaming in our lifetime?
It's been an experience. I mean, it's changed my life for sure. Just all the people I'm like tearing up. Weird, like just all the people that I've met through it. Just great friends and everything. It's been more than just another job or anything. It's been just incredible. I don't really even know how to go on that without crying.
It was great, Wes.
I don't know what's going on. Well, you got to me, Wes. I don't know what it is.
Does anybody in the audience have any questions? If you want to, you can just come and step up to the mic. Let's talk a little bit about what you've been doing. Like, for instance, you guys did a Team Fortress 2 podcast. Woo! A podcast about an FPS. And you made it last for 100 episodes. And then
122.
Exactly, another 22 later on. You've done 176 episodes of The Shaft.
Yeah.
And now you're on 40-something of Smite?
43,
Yeah.
I think.
About to reboot Smite.
How on earth do you find that much to talk about?
It's usually just crudeness to fill the time.
I think actually that's where the community comes into it a lot. Like especially the Control Point podcast, which I wasn't on, but I've listened to too many times, is unhealthy. One of the reasons they did that and that it kept it going so long was because they would get to the point where the whole episode would be listener contributions. That's all they would do all episode. That's it. Like, no, they wouldn't even talk about the game barely. Or they'd come in and be like, hey, did you guys play the game this week? Nope. Well, I'm glad you're here, but let's do some listener contributions.
Let's talk about Conan Online.
Yeah, exactly. And that podcast existed because of its community. Yeah. Like really almost ran out of game content. I wouldn't. Okay, this is a bad way to put it.
No.
Okay, I'll say
we stopped playing the game.
I'll say
we weren't playing at the end.
The
of
first
show.
11 episodes were about the classes in the game, and then they did another like 10 about the maps. And at that point, it was, what do we talk about? Well, the community, really.
Yeah.
You just listen. Like, that's why it went so long, was because of the community. And yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what really drives a show and whether we continue to do the show. Like, we started doing a show on 7 Days to Die, and there was probably as many people listening to it as our Smite podcast, but it wasn't as interactive. People weren't sending in stuff or in the chat room. People just didn't really seem to care as much about the show, so we kind of said, okay, we're going to put that one on the back burner. But the ones where people seem to be enjoying it, playing the game with us, getting that interaction, like, we'll keep doing it for as long as, because we can talk about anything forever, I think. So, yeah, Smite, we're about to reboot, so Like, I hope there's people here who play Smite. I know Smite's going on over there. We really actually want to go watch some more Smite, too. But we're about to reboot that show. So even if you don't play Smite, give On Smite a chance on Season 2 because it's about to be ridiculous. About to do some crazy stuff. Things that you just have not seen
Off the
ever
chain.
before.
I'm not sure I
really say
approve
that
of some of
on
the
the
stuff, but I'll go along with it.
Yeah, just not in...
So has Smite started getting which god questions?
Yeah. No, let's fill
hope.
in the Chibalanque.
I want them.
Segment we're doing. What's cracking? Right? We got some stuff coming. It's going to...
For those who don't know, back
Blow
in the
up.
old Team Fortress 2 podcast days, there was a point where all the questions that we got were, which class would you want to have dinner with? Which class would you want to go to the movies with? And it got so... we just were like, oh God, it's another which class.
It got to the point where they actually banned questions. They would not answer which class questions anymore because they were too many of them.
Well, and that didn't work because then it just
didn't.
became
People-
what island, or what, if you were on an island, what class would you want to be on? Yeah.
Or we would get emails, or they would get emails, I guess, where it'd be like, oh, this is a real question, and then it would evolve into which class question. But they didn't like read the question before they put it in. To be like, oops, we accidentally, which class question snuck in here. But if you want to send which god questions, you can, definitely. I'd love that.
Which god would you want to go to a desert island with? Answer it now, all of you.
Poseidon, because water, we can we can get off the desert island. I got it.
Brent's waffling.
But I want pool
Yeah.
party Poseidon.
It's just like, do I have to be stuck on the island, or can like Apollo fly me off?
There you go, Apollo. It's a great, easy way out. Once again, any questions from the audience? Just feel free to step up, and we'll take your question. Okay,
Lord.
cool.
Hello.
You guys have had a lot of people on your Shaft podcast. Pretty much most of the people who are here, most of the YouTubers who are here. If you could have anyone back on the podcast, who would it be?
For those in the audience who are listening to the stream, if they could have any guest back on the Shaft who's been a guest before, who would it be?
Oh God, that's a hard one because there's.
Well, I know who-
The answer is going to screw us. Thanks very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Well, I remember one of
Why
our
didn't you let me on the
favorite
show then?
guests when I was on the Shaft with you guys was X. Out of nowhere, he was hilarious.
Yeah. X is good. Yeah.
And he really knew how to. When you're podcasting, you get into something called radio voice, where you kind of, if there's dead air, you're failing, and so you talk all the time, and then if anybody has anything to offer, you hope that they chime in, because if they don't chime in, you're just going to keep talking because you're doing radio.
Yeah.
And X had a chemistry and was able to step in and talk way better than a lot of his contemporaries. It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Selfishly, I would say, of course, Simon and Lewis, because huge numbers, and they're incredibly funny, and it's always a good show. Of course, Notch agreed to be on 200. Maybe he'll be
After
or
the
not,
soundboard
but,
abuse, I'm not sure about that.
But one of my favorite episodes, at least this year, was Good. Good actually flew down to Huntsville and came to our studio, and he was actually in the studio with us, and that makes so much difference. Like just being there, and that's one thing I think that makes our show is not better than a lot of podcasts, but it makes it what it is that most of us are there in the room, and it's a whole different ball game than having lag on Skype and being able to talk to someone.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it is what it is. But so when Good was there, oh my God, it was so funny. I mean, it was just.
And it
that
had
was,
nothing to do with the margaritas we had beforehand.
Yeah.
It had everything to do, but that's okay. It's,
I remember
filter's
walking
gone.
into the studio because I got there late, and I walk in, and they're just laughing, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm just going to sit down over here and just absorb what's going on. And then alcohol was put in front of me, and I'm like, okay, I understand now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Caleb, did you have a question? No.
This
you
should have been a
wanted to come and
return
sit up
question,
here?
like who do you want on the show?
Go ahead.
What kind of tips would you have if you have you're better at streaming than recording, and you're having trouble with recording more than streaming. Like, what would you say for to get better at recording?
It's a tough one because I would say technically it's just basically do. The more you do it, you'll get better. The technical side of editing and watching, definitely watching other people who are doing what you want to do. You want to do something that you enjoy as well, and just all that kind of flows through into a good product, and just do it. Just keep doing it over. I mean, that's a lot of what it is. I mean, we just put up our 900th video, right? So it's just do it. And Eric's so much of a better editor than I am, but we just released a new series called The Ender Files. Go watch it. It's hysterical. Maz is on there. Afro's on there. Eric's on there. I'm on there. That makes it, right? But I feel it's the best editing for a show that we've done. And all I'm doing is trying to live up to Eric's editing. Every time I edit something, it's what would Eric do? I need that bumper sticker or something above my computer. WWED. Weed. That's a different bumper sticker.
Wed.
But so yeah, keep doing it. Look towards the people that, because podcasting, we got into podcasting originally because we love podcasts, and we listened to Leo Laporte on Twit, and he's an expert at what he does. So you want to look at the people who are experts and see what they're doing, and do that. We were listening to The Instance, incredible podcast. Scott Johnson knows what he's doing. Total Biscuit was doing some radio shows. It was kind of before podcasting even. That was incredible, and so it's just we listened to those things, see how they did it. With the editing part, watch, not to condone watching a bunch of TV and stuff, but get Netflix, netflix.com/WXParty, and watch a bunch of TV and shows and see what the good shows do editing-wise, the pacing of it, things like that, music, background. Just think about what's going on, the camera angles, things just all that. Just watch and do, edit, and just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
And also
Keep doing
it can help to pay attention to people that are giving constructive feedback, your watchers or your viewers. Look at what they like. They'll tell you things that they like about your show or things that they don't like, and it can be really helpful as long as they're not being mean to you, of course. But so you can focus on those things and try to refine stuff that they say they like. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to wind up. Everybody give it up for the Dead Workers Party. You can find them on Twitter at Brent Copeland.
All of them are at Brent Copeland.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the expo.
Yes, and go play Smite too. Get Smite.
Smite on.
Smite.